So the origin story of Garrett Cole is a really interesting one. Garrett was not my original protagonist. When I wrote my first book that I sent to my that ultimately got my literary agent with, I was writing a total just a straight up CIA story. I mean, it was kind of like, you think of the Vince Flynn, Brad Thor, that kind of a traditional spy novel. That's what I was writing, and that's what I got my agent with. Garrett Cole was a side character in that novel, and my agent is the one after having read it said, Garrett Cole, this guy, this cowboy from Texas that you have as sort of the sidekick in this thing. He goes, that's your protagonist right there. And the funny thing was that I knew that. I mean, I could see Garrett stealing the show as I was writing, but I didn't want to admit it, right? Because that would mean, here's this book I'd rewritten multiple times. I'd have to start fresh. But my agent said, I think that the best bet is for you to start fresh, start something with Garrett Cole. And he said, can you do that? And I said, absolutely not. I can't do it because I said, I was an intel guy. I said, Garrett's a cop, he's DEA. I said, it really, that's just not what I did do counter drug stuff, but it's at a whole different level. When you're working with the military, it's just a different, I'm not a cop. I don't know that world. But ultimately, it was the best decision I could have made because, or that I was told I made it, because I guess I wasn't given a command, but I was given this option that my agent, who you trust, is you think is a good one. And but ultimately, it freed me up because when I was writing the agency stuff or just a straight up CIA character, I was hindered by that because maybe I was hindered by the reality of it. I don't know what it was, but when I started writing about Garrett, this sort of cowboy cop, it freed me up and it allowed me to I let him play in the CIA world because he's a sort of cowboy, law and order, black and white kind of guy. And the world of the CIA is gray. I mean, it's very, very gray. And so there's something that really happened. I was at a meeting one time when I was at the agency, and there were a lot of people from I don't know if DEA was there, I know FBI and some other people were there. And this guy put his hand up and he said, I don't understand what you people do. And what he meant by that was, I mean, he understood, but in their world, it's black and white. They have friends and people that aren't friends. In our world at the agency, it was very gray. Like we're very what we do is still secrets. That's what we do. We're not there to make friends. We're there to steal secrets. And I thought, how fun would it be to take this cowboy cop, this black and white, good versus evil, and put him in that gray world of the CIA? And that's what I've done for 4 books. So I wanted to see what would happen to him. Would he change that culture that he's working in, or would that culture change him? And so to me, that was a sort of fun way, and that's how Garrett was born. He really wasn't supposed to be a main character, but he became one, and I think it worked out well. So Coachella is a fun one. It's a little bit different because, well, I won't get too far into it because it gives stuff away. But yeah, basically, Garrett's had all these problems. Well, now, and by book 4, he's actually sort of coming into his own. He's things aren't perfect. He sort of formed an alliance with the devil, if you will, because he needed to save the ranch. He was in horrible debt, so now he has this sort of joint energy partnership with one of the long-standing characters in the book series. But so things are good. But as I always say, I can't leave them good because then we've got no story. So what happens is there's a compressor station that blows up, and that happens around here from time to time. We're talking about natural gas. It's combustible. It's dangerous. These things do happen, but they don't happen twice in a row, and that's what ends up happening. And some people get hurt, and Garrett is on the case, and so he starts looking into this. And there's some environmental protesters that show up that are a little bit more. They have a lot of energy, let's just say, and they're not as friendly maybe as they could be. So people are suspecting them, but there's different people that are showing up, and there's rival oil companies. And so pretty soon Garrett goes, okay, hold on, slow down. Something's happening here. I don't know what it is. Let's get to the bottom of it. So it's about him sort of peeling back that onion with some there's always strange bedfellows in all of my books, and so there's more strange bedfellows in this one, which I think makes for a lot of fun. My favorite author is Larry McMurtry, and so I always loved his books, whether it's from Lonesome Dove to, through that whole series to just to some of the other ones like the last Picture Show and all. I loved all those characters, and so for me, beyond the plot and beyond the excitement and the adventure, I love good, fun dialogue. And if you know, like you said, you've been to Texas, it's a wild place with a lot of wild characters. I mean, there's a character on every corner. All you got to do is just go talk to him, and you go, "You're a character in this book." And so I met a lot of those along the way. And so a lot of these things, these conversations that I put into the book, are based on real conversations that I had with people, and they're funny. They're just funny because people come from all walks of life, right? And so again, talking to the guy that had been in federal prison, I mean, you would think this would be this a sort of sad conversation or a I mean, we laughed the whole time. This guy was telling me story after story about being in prison or being on meth, and I mean, he's funny. I mean, the bottom line was funny, and he had these like outrageous things to say, and sometimes he didn't know why that was funny. But I like to include those kind of things in the book because I think it brings a perspective to the readers that, again, I never want it to be cliche. I never want to just, a bad guy's just bad for the sake of being bad. Or I, I, I think people are multidimensional. And so if you look at my books, there are characters that are sort of bad that turn good or good that turn bad. But everybody's got these facets, these different sides of them. And to me, that's the fun part of the book. The next book I'm writing right now is unrelated to Garrett Cole. So yeah, I'm almost done with that one. It's gonna be fun. It was uh, a nice, I think for me creatively, it was a good thing to do. So this one's gonna be a fun one. It's still a little bit in the spy world. It's gonna be more mystery, a little more um, of how would you call it, secret government kind of stuff going on. It all takes place up in Chesapeake, and a little more Blake Crouch, a little more science meets supernatural. So yeah, so this fourth will end the Garrett Cole series, at least for now. I'd love to come back at some point and age them a little bit, and then bring it back. But yeah, so this next one, it's so I still want to stay a little bit in the government spy world because it's the world I know, and I think it's fun. I think what's going on in the world right now, there's a lot of mystery. So I don't know if you keep up with the UFO, UAP thing that you keep seeing in the news, and they keep having these congressional hearings. I'm not writing about that specifically, but I think it opens the doors in our minds as readers and people that are looking for entertainment and information. You're thinking, what's going on? What is our government hiding? And so for me, that was a fun thing to play with. And so with this next book, I'm playing a little bit with the shadow government, and what does our government know and they're not telling us about, and what's that next level? Where are we headed next with weapons and things like that?